Islam, Deputy Counsel General.
Islam, Counsel General. Islam.
Islam.
Islam, Islam, Islamism. I am Deputy Counsel General, Saraya. Dr. Saraya Rihu Musa Prince Bulu, the Maryland Council, rising giving praise to the Almighty God Allah, His Holy Prophet, Noble Drew Ali, the forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey, our Moorish American theocratic government, the Maryland Council, all the councilors in the Moorish American theocratic government, all my Moorish kin, everything that is Moorish, all the youth yet born. I say peace, love, and gratitude. Start off with the Moorish American prayer. Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day. Through His holy prophet, Drew Ali. Amen.
Islam, Islam, Islam. Islam, everyone. I'm Terrell Freemanell of the Maryland Consulate, rising and giving praise to the great God, Allah, Father of the universe. And highest honors to His prophet, our prophet, Noble Drew Ali, El-Haj Sharif Abdul Ali. Want to give high honors to our Moorish American government, our Moorish American theocratic government. Want to give high honors to the indigenous nation of Moorish America. Want to give high honors to all officials and all citizens of our Moorish American government. And want to give high honors to our children. Want to give high honors to all children of the human family. Want to give high honors to our ancestors. Want to give high honors to the forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garvey. Want to give high honors to all of you that are here with us today. And want to give high honors to those unmentioned and those yet born. Islam. Salvation, our God, unity. The divine constitution of Moorish America. Act 1. The Grand Sheikh and the Chairman of Moorish America are empowered to make law and enforce laws with the assistance of the Prophet and the Grand Body of Moorish America. The Assistant Grand Sheikh is to assist the Grand Sheikh in all affairs if he lives according to love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice, and it is known before the citizens of Moorish America. The Bylaws, Act 2. All meetings are to be open and closed promptly according to the Circle 7, and love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Friday is our holy day of rest because on a Friday, the first man was formed in flesh. And on a Friday, the first man departed out of flesh and ascended unto his Father God Allah. For that cause, Friday is the holy day for all Muslims all over the world. Act 3. Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice must be proclaimed and practiced by all citizens of Moorish America. No citizen is to put in danger or accuse falsely his brother or sister on any occasion at all that may harm his brother or sister, because Allah is love. Act 4. All citizens must preserve these holy and divine laws, and all citizens must obey the laws of the government, because by being a Moorish American, you are a part and parcel of the government and must live the life accordingly. Act 5. No organization of Moorish America is to cause any confusion or to overthrow the laws and constitution of the said government, but to obey hereby. Act 6. With us, all citizens must proclaim their nationality, and we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and a parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, Black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all men now must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the government in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali the Prophet to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites, whom inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. Act 7. All citizens must promptly attend their meetings and become a part and a parcel of all uplifting acts of Moorish America. Moorish Americans must pay their dues and keep in line with all necessities of Moorish America, and then you are entitled to the name of faithful. Husband, you must support your wife and children. Wife, you must obey your husband and take care of your children and look after the duties of your household. Sons and daughters must obey father and mother and be industrious and become a part of the uplifting of fallen humanity. All Moorish Americans must keep their hearts and minds pure with love and their bodies clean with water. This divine covenant is from your holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali, through the guidance of his Father God Allah. Prophet Noble Drew Ali, peace and blessings be upon him, founding father and framer of the divine constitution and bylaws of Moorish America. And now that this meeting has been opened according to law, we say Islam, Islam, Islamism. Welcome, everyone.
Islam. Gratitude for that. Now that the meeting has been lawfully open, come to order, let me give a synopsis of what today's class is about. Title again is We Are a Microcosm of the Macrocosmic Universe. Zoom class. Today, starting at 5 p.m. Host will be Dr. Anwar Ali, Senior Deputy Consul General, Maryland Consulate, Moorish American Government. Title of the lesson: Is not the master of the house more honorable than its walls? Ooh. Okay. The objective: to understand what is meant by as it is above, so it is below, and a circle within a circle. We have words of master words of study to define. Microcosm, part of the class name. Macrocosm, also part of the class name. From macrocosmic, macrocosm. Spirit, flesh. Breath, zodiac. Senior Deputy Consul General, Dr. Anwar, will you be reading the chapter of the week?
Islam, well, I have a chapter down there, chapter 59. I wasn't sure what the chapter of the week was. Should that be read for the definition?
Deputy Consul General Freeman. Islam?
Islam.
You have that available?
Islam. I can, what chapter?
Chapter of the week.
Yes, I just need the number or name of the chapter.
It's chapter 16. If you don't have it, I could go ahead too.
Oh, I have it this time, Goddess and Queen. Gratitude. So we have Yehoshua teaches the common people at a spring, tells them how to obtain eternal happiness. Gratitude.
Okay, so when I complete this, please read the chapter of the week, and then we'll go to your chapter. Islam?
Islam.
We will be coming out of the study guide, The Exhuming of a Nation, page 398. How can man be God? And the history of God today. We will be using one of our resources, watching a YouTube video, 12 zodiac signs and what they mean. Short video in length, and up front, we do not own the rights to this video. We are using it for educational purposes only. We'll make sure to show the disclaimer to make certain. We don't want no trouble with nobody. They say what the young folks say, we don't want no smoke. We don't want no smoke. At least not about that. Question on the floor. As simple. Who are you? Who are you? That sounds so simple, but that's a difficult question to answer. It should be easy, but we'll see. All right, Deputy Counsel General Freeman, could you please read the chapter of the week? Islam.
Islam. Chapter 16. Yehoshua teaches the common people at a spring, tells them how to obtain eternal happiness. In silent meditation, Yehoshua sat subhanAllah. In silent meditation, Yehoshua sat beside a flowing spring. It was a holy day, and many people of the servant caste were near the place. And Yehoshua saw the hard-drawn lines of toil on every brow, in every hand. There was no look of joy in any face. No one of all the group could think of anything but toil. And Yehoshua spoke to one and said, "Why are you all so sad? Have you no happiness in life?" The man replied, "We scarcely know the meaning of that word. We toil to live and hope for nothing else but toil, and bless the day when we can cease our toil and lay down and rest in Buddha's city of the dead." And Yehoshua's heart was stirred with pity and with love for these poor toilers. And he said, "Toil should not make a person sad. Men should be happiest when they toil. When hope and love are back of toil, then all of life is filled with joy and peace. And this is heaven. Do you not know that such a heaven is for you?" The man replied, "Of heaven we have heard, but when it is so far away, and we must live so many lives before we reach that place." And Yehoshua said, "My brother, man, your thoughts are wrong. Your heaven is not far away, and it is not a place of metes and bounds. It is not a country to be reached. It is a state of mind. Allah never made a heaven for man. He never made a hell. We are creators and make our own. Now cease to seek for the heaven in the sky. Just open up the windows of your hearts, and like a flood of light, a heaven will come and bring a boundless joy. Then the toil will be no cruel task." The people were amazed and gathered close to hear this strange young master speak, imploring him to tell them more about the Father God Allah, about the heaven that men can make on earth, about the boundless joy. And Yehoshua spake a parable. He said, "A certain man possessed a field. The soil was hard and poor. By constant toil, he scarcely could provide food to keep his family from want. One day, a miner who could see beneath the soil, in passing on his way, saw this poor man in his unfruitful field. He called the weary toiler and said, 'My brother, know you not that just below the surface of your barren field, rich treasures lie concealed? You plow and sow and reap in a scanty way, and day by day you tread upon a mine of gold and precious stones. This wealth lies not upon the surface of the ground, but if you will dig away the subhanAllah, but if you will dig away the rocky soil and delve down deep into the earth, you need no longer till the soil for naught.' The man believed, 'The miner surely knows, and I will find the treasures hidden in my field.' And then he dug away the rocky soil, and deep down in the earth he found a mine of gold. And Yehoshua said, The sons of men are toiling hard on desert plains and burning sands and rocky soils, are doing what their fathers did, not dreaming that they can do aught else. Behold, a master comes and tells them of a hidden wealth, that underneath the rocky soil of carnal things are treasures that no man can count. That in the heart of the richest gems abound, that he who wills may open the door and find them all. And then the people said, make known to us the way that we may find the wealth that lies within the heart. And Yehoshua opened up the way. The toilers saw another side of life, and toil became joy. Islam.
Islam. Brother Anwar.
Islam. We can do the definitions. Excuse me. We can do the definitions. After we do the definitions, and I'll read chapter 59, the breath of heaven.
Yes, sir. You are the host.
Islam.
Islam. We will go into the master words of study. May I have some more come up with their definition of microcosm? Microcosm. Okay, I see the Secretary of State's hand first. Sheriff Khadijah Bey. Sister, Islam.
Khadijah Bey, basking and praises to God Allah, honest to his prophet, honest due, honest to divine guidance, honest to Act 1 of a most American government, honest to all the Moors online and under the sound of my voice, and most important, honest to citizen and children. But microcosm, I had humankind regarded as the epitome of the universe. Islam.
Islam. Gratitude for that measure. Next, I have the goddess Nicole Williams El-Bey.
Islam. I rise giving praise to the great God of the universe. High honors to our ancestors. High honors to our prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Honors to all the Moors here, there, and everywhere. Microcosm, I have the individual world as distinguished from the universal. Islam.
Islam, gratitude for that. Dr. Anwar Ali, L. Islam.
Islam. Once again, I rise, giving perfect praise to the great God of law, honors to his prophets, honor to the last prophet. In these days and time, Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I give honor to the Royal Council, the most American government, all the officials, all the citizens. Give honor where honor is due. Give honor to all of you. Give honor to the Maryland Council Zoom meeting. We are the microcosm of the macrocosm universe, children's Zoom meeting, and everyone in attendance. Microcosm, a representation of something on a much smaller scale, something that is seen as a small version of something much larger. Islam.
Islam. Praise the Lord. Gratitude for that measure. Prophet got y'all working like that? Got y'all eating stirring up? Are you ready? Can we go with the next word?
Yeah, roll.
Next master word of study, macrocosm. We said microcosm. Now we're going macrocosm. I have any more who are prepared there? Uh-oh. Secretary of State, what say you?
Islam.
Islam.
Minister Sharon already risen. Macrocosm. I had the great world, universe. Islam.
Islam, that's it. That's it. Islam. Gratitude for that measure. Anyone else? The definition for macrocosm. I see the goddess Nicole Williams El-Bey. And I see Deputy Counsel General Freeman. Goddess, you say.
Islam, praise and honors reiterated.
Wow.
Macrocosm, the universal world. It is another word for the whole. Islam.
Islam. Again, gratitude for that measure. Deputy Counsel General, what say you?
Islam and gratitude. Islam, I'm Terrell Freeman, praise and honors reiterated. I concur with the measures given by the two goddesses, and just said a system reflecting on a large scale, one of the components, systems, or parts. Any complex entity regarded as a complete system in itself. Islam.
Islam. Gratitude. Gratitude for that measure, sir. The next master word of study is spirit. And I'm reading the mind of my Counsel General. He wants you to make sure that when you give this definition of spirit, that you keep in mind the Moorish connotation of spirit as it relates to Moorish science, keeping the law out front and the Prophet's teachings. Islam defines spirit. I got the
Islam.
daughters. Islam.
For spirit, I had vital principle held to give life to physical organisms. Islam.
Islam. Anybody else? Senior Deputy Counsel General Anwar Aliel, what say you?
Islam, haven't already risen. Spirit. God as the moving force in the universe. Principle as the breath of life in all creation. The principle of life, creative intelligence, and life. Islam.
Islam. I give all praise due to Allah and the highest honors to his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I would love to hear the definition that our Counsel General has on that word spirit. Counsel General, what say you on spirit? Islam?
Islam. Islam. First and foremost, I rise to give praise to the great God of the universe, the spirit of the universe. I want to give honor to our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I want to give honor to our theocratic government of Moorish America. I want to give honor to all the officials of Moorish America. Give honor to all of our children of Moorish America, children here, there, and everywhere. I want to give honor to all of our people for being indigenous to the planet Earth. I want to give honor when honor is due, give honor to this class, honor to everyone that's on the panel, give honor to everyone that's under the sound of our voice. And basically, I just keep it simple, just like there was a good definition given. Just sticking with the prophet, man is a spirit and a part of Allah. He's not the body nor the soul. So I'll just leave it right there. Islam, gratitude.
Gratitude for that measure, Counsel General. The next master word of study is soul. Let's say you are the definition of soul. Islam, goddess.
Islam, praise and honors reiterated from the science of mind. Soul, the creative medium of spirit, the subjective side of life, the mirror of mind, for it reflects the forms of thought which are given it. Man's soul life reenacts the soul life of the universe. Soul is subjective because it takes the thought of conscious mind and acts upon it. Its nature is subjective and it cannot analyze or reject. It can only carry out the orders given it, infinite in its power and ability to do, but not knowing that it does. Islam.
Islam. Gratitude for that elaboration. I got the goddess Shara El-Bey, and I got Dr. Anwar Aliel, and I got Dr. Freeman out. Islam
Islam.
goddess.
Islam. After that grand reading of soul from Goddess Nicole L. What I have for soul just go to me enhances what she just read. I got the spiritual or moral force. Islam.
Gratitude. Dr. Anwar.
Islam. Soul, man's consciousness, the underlying idea back of any expression. Islam.
Gratitude. That sounds like a more given that definition. Dr. Freeman.
Islam and gratitude. Islam, I wanted to, I'm Terrell Freeman L. I just wanted to contribute to those mighty measures given by all of our Morshkin of the consulate by quoting the Prophet Noble Drew Ali out of chapter 1, the creation and fall of man. Let's see. Hark now, let every creature hear. The plane of soul is but the ether of the spirit plane, vibrating not so fast. And in slower rhythm of this plane, the essence of life are manifest. The perfumes and the odors, the true sensations, and the all of love manifest. Islamism.
Gratitude for that. Council General, you have your hand up?
Islam, just giving honor to everything that was said. I just wanted to add one more thing to about spirit, because I think that is very vital, important. That spirit is synonymous to breath, and man is the breath or spirit made flesh, so it can be interchangeably used. Because most people take their own breath for granted. So, then in religion, it's being, the spirit is being made spooky, like the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit really actually means purity, so we want to give some little example definitions, examples of those words. So the average person who walk down the street every day can get a drawing off of it. So because some people compare themselves out when you talk about these things, because the first thing come to their mind is, oh, there they go with that religion. So we want to make it plain. Islam, gratitude.
Islam, gratitude. I always took that spirit to mean as in Allah animating this flesh, putting the truth into this flesh, love being put into this flesh, so that we can do what we do and do the things that look like similar characteristics to what Allah, to the many characteristics of Allah. We have some of the talents that we can do and be used here as we are trying to get back to that deific will. Islam. Anybody else?
Islam, I just want one more. In reference to spirit, spirit.
Reference to spirit? Okay.
Yes.
Islam.
Is the development in man of a greater capacity to know himself and to understand the purpose of creation. Islam.
Do we all feel like we got a solid understanding of the definition of soul? Anybody saying that they lost with that, or we good? Next master word of study, flesh. Define flesh. Islam Council General, is your hand up?
Oh, yeah, Islam, I wanted to add to, because, as we build and, stuff unfold and, come to mind, because
It's up.
sometimes, yes,
Yeah.
language is the only thing that kind of confuses people. So, like we talk about spirit and soul, and when you're dealing with psychology, spirit will be synonymous to conscious,
Mm-hmm.
and soul will be synonymous to something subjective, or your soul is subjective, or your subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what, because in the field of psychology, you'll see that they won't even use certain words. They'll stick with those words for the sake of having control, you know. But
Mm-hmm.
once you know that these words are synonymous, it gives you a broader understanding and a stronger foundation. Islam, gratitude.
Mm-hmm. Islam. Gratitude. Definition of flesh. All right. Dr. Elwar.
Islam, I haven't already. Wisdom, flesh, mortal consciousness expressing itself through appetite. And I looked into it a little deeper. And in reference to that word appetite is like things that you do to satisfy this flesh. Islam,
Islam. Gratitude.
gratitude.
Dr. Freeman, you took your hand down? Okay, I will give my definition of flesh here. The soft substance consisting of muscle and fat that is found between the skin and bones of an animal or a human. Islam. Anybody else with the definition of flesh? Next master word of study, breath. I have a definition of breath.
Islam.
Islam.
Minister Sharon Khadija Bay already risen. But breath I have air inhaled and exhale as in breathing. Islam.
Islam. Islam. Anybody else with breath?
Islam, breath. The word spirit derives from the word breath. Spiritus in Latin literally means breath gives life.
Mm, mm. Islam. Gratitude for that. And gratitude for kind of sneakily going through the etymology of the word. I apologize, not sneakily, but getting us to, digging deep, getting to the etymology of that word. Because that's what it means for us, as we were animated by the breath of Allah.
Mm-hmm.
But that's also what it means for us as we activate our own breath. What comes out of here, it can be made manifest. And it ain't many things that we can do on this earth without breathing. If you aren't breathing, you won't be doing it for much longer. It is vital, the vital life force. Indeed. Anybody else? Definition of breath. Islam. The next master word of study will be our final word, zodiac. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I must have Goddess Nicole Williams El-Bey. Please, you got me discombobulated. I got to have your definition of zodiac. Islam.
Islam, circle.
No. Islam. Gratitude, sister. Gratitude. Thank you so much. Islam. Anybody else for the definition? Goddess Sharon Khadija Bey.
Islam,
Islam.
a circular course, a figure representing the signs of the zodiac and their symbols. Islam,
Islam. Islam. Again, we got the council general, Malik El-Bey. Islam.
Islam. I want to put the prophet out there because a lot of our family don't understand the prophet teachings, and the prophet didn't bring us anything new. Everything he brought, it appeared to be new, only because our people don't understand it, or it wasn't taught to them, or it was commercialized in such a way, like the zodiac. The prophet asked us the question, what is our religion? And the answer is Islamism. Islamism is made up of many different sciences, just like religion. Religion was a science of the Moors. The zodiac was another science of the Moors. So I'm reading from the Book of Fire, and it says the ancient ones recognition of the divine coordinates between planets, the timetable of manifest destiny and man with other forms of life. These coordinates are the spiritual or astral bonds with design orbital effects upon other living cycles, past, present, and future. Time elements are divided into thought increments of hours, days, years, and ages. These two are often divided into celestial governments of 12 houses called zodiac. These houses are life cycles. Still, these houses are preceded by the suffix zo. Zo. And commercialized wise, people, they think the zodiac is all it is. But zo is short for zoo, zoology, the house of little animals. So it's only a window that you came through that the universe dusts you soul with energy. But the essence of you, when you get to that level, your real sign is the logo circle 7. That's the reason why we wear it around our neck. You become the logo circle 7. That's your real sign. Anything else is just a window or an instrument that was used. But so it says zo, which implies animal kingdom, e.g. zoo. The word zodiac means world of the little animals because each house of the 12 houses is represented by a symbol reflected of the characteristics of that special house. The ancient Moors were able to reason early in the life of man, all life evolves in cycles of fruition. True, astrology is the living of manifest destiny and the consciousness of man's deific life. Man was created perfect. He came from a perfect source. He therefore is a perfect being. And to perfection, he must return. This is the true purpose for the zodiac. Who would know this better than the ancient Canaanites? They later inhabited Tarimathian kingdom in the upper Nile. Subhanallah, whom first designed the zodiac as a celestial calendar to measure their cycles of growth. Menestheus, an elder wise man from China, once told Yehoshua, the man that was called Jesus, all things are thought. All life is thought activity. The multitudes of beings are but phases of the one great thought made manifest. Lo, the great God is thought, and thought is the great God. Islam?
Islam. Gratitude for that measure and that explanation and that understanding, and going deeper into what the literal meaning is. Is what I come up with is that the zodiac is a map for life. It's a map of life, and those coordinates have already been set. and you just must walk the path accordingly. Dr. Anwar, what say you?
Islam. If I get a definite, I kind of want to elaborate on this because, and I chose this word in here because of me and a friend of mine was speaking last week, and they brought up the zodiac sign. And before I came into more science, I thought my zodiac sign was the goat. You know, Leo, on top of everything, leader, you know, able to charm women. You know, that's the stories I used to get with the Leo. And it gave me some false pride along the way. But I can't remember one time in my life that I went up to the opposite sex and say, would you like to go out to dinner? Never, not once, you know, not once. And I guess that was the attraction. And I was kind of shy. But anyway, let me get to the zodiac. This says the term zodiac derives from the Latin zodius, which in its turn comes from zodakos, which means circle, cycle, or circle of little animals. And what is meant by that? Because we deal with, the man is not the body or soul, but spirit, you know. And when we start dealing with this flesh now mind you, some of the Leo signs happen to be a part of my character, but not who I am, not the God man that's in me, you know. And I can look back in the past about certain events took place in my life, and like when I was in the military, I became smallest guy. I became an oldest guy, 25. I became the leader in my squad. You know, everybody just chose me. Why? I guess because of the attitude, the behavior that I carry. But I got a book here that's called The Zodiac and the Salts of Salvation. Listen to what it says about, and I'll just pick one of them out. Libra. It says governing the sun enters Libra September the 23rd and remains until October the 23rd. Governing planet Venus, gems, diamond, and opal. Astro colors are black, crimson, and light blue. Libra is an air sign. In the Bible, alchemy, Libra represents Reuben, the first son of Jacob. Reuben means vision of the sun. In the symbolism of the New Testament, Libra corresponds with the disciple Paul. Paul is derived from petor, a stone or material. Of these, Peter, material, will I build my church. These are Beth, house, body, or temple. So the purpose of this class, like you was reading when you read out the format, getting into the objective, you know, the objective as far as do we truly understand what is meant by as it is above, so it is below, and the circle within a circle. You know, those are words we throw out, but do you really know what it means? Islam.
Council General, you have your hand up?
Yes, Islam. in chapter 1 of our Holy Quran of Morse America, the prophet instructs us, and man's soul is here to tarry for many ages until all his lessons are learned. Every one of us tarry through each house. Each house is each age is about 2,000 years. You understand? So 2,000 times 12, or at least 2,000 to 2,500 times 12. So each soul tarry until all his lessons are actually learned. You understand? So everything that the great God of the universe installed in us was for us to perfect the temple, perfected man. The Moors just happened to be the ones that was the first that was able to put this in a science and many in different sciences for the sole purpose of man perfecting his will. You understand? Now, later on, other nations start to take it and direct that light in a whole nother direction. And this is where we got to get back to the true old time religion, which is Islamism. It's Islam, gratitude.
Islam.
Man, know thyself, Islam.
Know thyself, Islam. Gratitude. I just want to say that, I don't want to belittle, your zodiac sign coming in, because it's your start point. But you're not complete. You're just beginning. So it's just an indicator, like you're on a board. If you're on a board and somebody is saying, okay, they started here. So their complete revolution won't be ended until they end up back here. So as the Council General was saying, you got to go through the 12 houses. So, you're not done. So, I understood it because my zodiac sign is Aries the Ram. And I'm about as much of a teddy bear as possible. My size may look like, I can run through trucks while I'm rammed like a truck. But no, I'm a pretty passive person, man. Most aggressive you're gonna get out of me is my words. I really had that. We're talking just being physical. I've only had 4 real fights in my life. Because I would much rather talk to you than fight. Because in my mind, fight didn't mean fight and we friends afterward. Fight meant fight till one of us is gone. Because it's gotten to that point. So, and to curb that nonsense, because that was obviously something coming from my lower self, I need to make sure that I'm always keeping myself in a level position. That even in the midst of chaos, that I can communicate. And so maybe that part is aggressive, but I'm not around. I'm not going to run headlong in anything first and then find out later what's going to happen. I'm always the one that's going to dip his toe in the water and make sure that it's ready for us before we jump in. I just messing around. There's a cartoon called King of the Hill, and the coach had them. He was an old school coach, Vince Lombardi style coach, and he was telling them literally to run through a wall. So one of the characters said, "I'm not going to do that because I'll start having headaches like my mom." That was something innuendo. And then he called them all pansies and put the helmet on and said, "I'll show you how to do it," and ran into the wall, brick wall, and collapsed, cracked the helmet open, and started going into convulsions. And that was a lesson for me, even on the cartoon. Before you run into a brick wall, before you just follow somebody and say, "Look, run through that wall." I don't know if I'm gonna do that. I don't know if I'm gonna do that. And a better question is, why did you want me to run through the wall anyway? But I digress. Gratitude for all the measures for the Master Words of Study. We'll go into the next portion of the lesson, the reading of chapter 59.
Islam, Deputy, can I add something before you go there?
Islam.
Yeah, Islam. For the record, I know the brother might be watching, but I want to give this brother honor, and he's my personal astrologist. He's a master astrologer, in my opinion. He's humble, but he won't admit it. But he's really humble with the science, and he has helped me in my growth and development from the time I came into the movement up to the part where I became Grand Sheik, Sister Minister, and etc. in the movement, even to where I am now, being Council General. And it helped me grow because he was a master at the science. And he, just like you said, the zodiac or one who can knows how to master the science, it helps you to keep you from running into the brick wall because it's dealing with the unseen. It's like a blueprint of your soul. So it keeps you from running into things like that brick wall you was talking about. And this brother name is Dr. Walter Carlos Ill. I want y'all might see him on Facebook. If you do and you get a chance, reach out to him and he will assist you, and I'm telling you, the brother is awesome. Praise be to Allah. Gratitude.
Islam. Gratitude for that connection. That's you don't want to more to know something. Don't put it out there. Islam. Dr. Anwar.
Islam. I just want to camel back off of something that Council General just said. He also played a major part in my life coming through the temple. And like I said, some of those Leo attributes I've seen manifest in the flesh. Always had that that leadership. Always wanted to be the alpha male in the group, and most of the times it came out that way. You know what I mean? Or people depend on me to take the lead. So that's dealing with part of my character, which is this flesh. So and that's why I chose this chapter 59, Holy Instruction from the Prophet, the breath of heaven. It says, "Thought not the body, because it was first formed, nor of thy brain, because therein thy soul resided. Is not the master of the house more honorable than its walls? The ground must be prepared before corn be planted. The potter must build his furnace before he can make his porcelain. As the breath of heaven saith unto the waters of the deep, this way shall thy billows roll, and no other. Thus high, and no higher shall they raise their theory. So let thy spirit, O man," and anytime you see that big O, he's talking about the God man. "And let thy spirit, O man, actuate and direct thy flesh. So let it repress its wilderness. Thy body is as the globe of the earth, thy bones the pillars that sustain it on its basis. As the ocean giveth rise to springs, whose water return again unto its bosom through the rivers, so runneth thy life from thy outward, and so runneth it into its place again. Do not both retain their course forever? Behold, the same Allah ordained them. Is not thy nose the channel for perfumes, thy mouth the path for delicacies? Are not thy eyes the sentinels that watch for thee? That how often are they unable to distinguish truth from error? Keep thy soul in moderation. Teach thy spirit to be attentive to its good. So shall these, its ministers, be always to the conveyance of truth. Thy hand, is it not a miracle? Is there in the creation art like unto it? Wherefore was it given thee, but that thou mightest stretch it out to the assistance of my brother. While of all things living are thou alone, made capable of blushing. The world shall read thy shame upon thy face. Therefore, do nothing shameful. Fear and dismay, which robs thy countenance of its ruddy splendor, avoid guilt, and thou shalt know that fear is beneath thee, that dismay is unnamely. Wherefore to thee alone speak shadows in the visions of the pillow. Reverence them, for know that dreams are from on high. Though man alone can speak, wonder at that glorious prerogative, and pay to him who gave it to thee a rational and welcome praise, teaching thy children wisdom, instructing the offspring of thy loins of piety, Islam. You gotta mute your mic.
SubhanAllah. Gratitude for that reading. In your estimation, what do you translate from that reading?
What it says here, oh, what it says here in the title, instruction from the prophet, the breath of heaven. And we speak of holy breath. You know, we speak of holy breath, and we speak of the breath, the creation giving us spirit, you know, spirit man. And what this holy breath does is send these messages to heaven. To heaven. And once you get a good idea, because that still small voice been talking to me all my life, but there was so much confusion up there, I couldn't hear it until I quieted the mind down. Everything in nature that the great God of the universe created have some boundaries, you know, and he alone controls these boundaries. When he talked about the river, when he talked about the stream, when he talked about thy flesh, you know, let it repress its wilderness. And you know the wilderness we're talking about is in here also. So get in touch with your spiritual self, get in touch with your soul. And I was gonna read a portion about the soul, but I'll let that go. We have to realize that the soul is subservient to our will. So you might want to do something, but the soul knows the right path to be on, because it says, I mean, it starts out saying that thou have a soul is of all knowledge. What does that mean? You know, that means not all that knowledge through incarnation is in there. You just can't get in touch with it, because again, great God of the universe, I got a book called The Veil. There are veils between each and every lifetime, you know, and if you could remember 2 lifetimes past, you probably go crazy. So it's put there for a reason. Even when some days you're like, man, I remember doing that before. That little bit of deja vu, maybe some of that slipped through. You know, I remember seeing them somewhere. Could have been a past life. You know, but it's there for a reason, you know. And I'm gonna read ayat 9 again. It says, keep thy soul in moderation. Teach thy spirit to be attentive to its good. So shall these its ministers be always to thy conveyance of truth. You know, Keep it in line with the truth, or keep your thoughts in line with truth, and it'll manifest, let me read this real fast.
You still got the exhibit of a nation, brother.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Islam.
This real short. It says, the spiritually conscious leader is an unusually adept thinker who has awakened to a new possibility. Such a leader has the understanding of the importance of thought and knows how to use it to cause internal personnel change. The power others to change, and yes, even to produce changes in the surrounding environment. Our consciousness is perhaps the most valuable asset we have to shape our destiny, give directions to our life, and generate the results that will fulfill our highest aspirations. Our mind is a builder. It can be used to build up or to tear down, and to bring peace or war, health or disease, chaos or harmony. Thoughts are, in a sense, raw material, building blocks that we use to build the foundation to make our dreams come true. When we are one with Allah in consciousness, our dreams are part of the master's plan for a better world.
Islam. Gratitude for that reading. One of the things that I think of as we've been talking is, how when you exercise that particular thing that you're doing, exercise gets stronger. Like if you're working on your arms, get stronger, or your legs. Well, intuition is like that as well. That's what masterminds do, because once you start developing, inwardly, as you are now truly knowing thyself, you can traverse, time immemorial, because that universal consciousness, that collective consciousness is out there, and you're tapped in, but it's blocked off or weak, as your frequency is weak, because you've not been exercising, you've not been practicing. That's when they talk about somebody being a doctor, they're talking about the doctor who practices that particular medium. So it's not that he is, the people get confused with that word practice. That means that he's putting it in operation, that is applying his knowledge. He's applying his understanding. So that's what we are doing. So, sometimes literally I have no idea where the answer comes from. I just know that I can access it, and I get to it. And then things start to unravel in front of me to let me know what that was about. So I needed to see that so I could deal with what was coming up next. And that's when I feel, that's when I understand I am lining myself up properly and accordingly. When things are coming to me in that manner, where they're unfolding at a pace where I'm able to say, okay, I got that for this, I got that for this, putting everything in its place, aligning yourself accordingly. Islam. The Examining of a Nation, page 398.
Islam.
Islam.
How can man be God? The answer should be, how can man not be God? But I digress. The majority of misunderstanding, self-denial, and ill use of the word God is in the miseducation of its definition. Many questions are asked verbally and secretly as to when, what, where, why, and who is God. These questions, especially in the Western knowledge, are outnumbered only by the amount of void and vague answers of Yehoshua, He, Spirit, Universe, and the even popular last dying words, trust in the Lord, God Almighty is coming back again. All are mental pacifiers due to the massive misappropriation of the word God. Mafa, the great suffrage, has become intertwined in all the ways of human life since the fall of man. To define countless degrees of Ma'afa would entail a separate library stockpiled between the bookends of times, life, and death. So let's not go there. Noble Drew Ali defined the word God according to science as merely a word with a proper definition meaning the ruler of the land. When any seeker of truth looks at this meaning of God as God much more clear and comprehensible, light begins to brighten those dark corners of mystery, wonder, and doubt. On the other hand, Ali warns about the dangers of not knowing this true meaning in his question number 92. What title does Satan give himself? God. All who fail in the category of the wise is because they have accepted Satan's masquerade and claim jumping on of the title God. Well, no one likes to be played, fooled, deceived, or bamboozled. But after reading about Maya and the ego, see Adam and Eve, what else would one expect from the master delusionist? Now let's find this ruler of the land. The history of God today. This revelation has given to the Moors as number 93 of their questionnaire written by Noble Drew Ali in 1913. The knowledge of his ancient definition for the word God places seekers of truth in a higher degree of understanding. God being the ruler of the land is not a new concept and has been practiced amongst men since before the pharaohs of ancient Kemet. As civilization spread from Mu, Atlantis, Lemuria, and ancient Africa, throughout the earthland, the names of the various gods have changed, pending the languages of the land and the consciousness level of the people during that time. The meaning has always remained the same, whether God was called an emperor, king, Caesar, caliph, pope, or president. Who or what has ever ruled has always been God. Having a proper understanding of the word God give less room for blasphemous thinking, paganism, and polytheistic worshiping. Needful to say, if one does not have the meaning of the word, then a good understanding is highly suspect. In the United States, the word God is used daily and is a commonplace until it is assumed as normal. It is considered as abnormal to question the origin and authenticity of today's God as it was to eyeball God in the eyes. During the days of slavery, some things are just too painful in the mind, I guess. There are others who refuse to bite into their God for fear of some other truth they might find. Besides, nobody likes being made a fool or prostituted, victimized, or played. Secretly, there are accidental pagans. These are those who are just serving who they say is God as best they know how, until a better one comes along. As in the case with most truths and meanings of God, has been with man and all around man all the time. For example, do these statements sound familiar? Man was given dominion over all the earth and to subdue the earth. Genesis. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be longer upon the earthland which the Lord thy God Allah hath given thee. Question number 42. All sacred scriptures are harmonious laws of man, witness the truth. Man is made in the image and after the likeness of God Allah. Question 91. Thus making man, spirit man, God in his essence. see the chapter Adam and Eve for a more in-depth understanding. The point here derives from a carefully avoided USA question to descendants of Africans born in America today. Who is your God, and how did you come to the absolute knowledge of this God? Islam. Should I read this last one? Before the reader sentences the author to a loony bin or check to see why his elevator won't go to the top floor, consider this. The U.S. designers and makers of the so-called Negro has also programmed into their man-made man the fear of God and literally everything he knows, feels and believes is God, the Son of God, the Word of God, or the Mother of God, etc. Everything the Negro thinks he knows about God has been learned from the only white man, God that created him, Islam.
Islam. Gratitude for that reading. And what do you get out of that reading, Goddess? What interpretation did you get out of what you just read?
That really the God is just a term that was used.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very loosely used. It's used for all sorts of people and things. So.
Well, again, the humans bastardize things a lot.
Yeah.
So that's that's part of that. But where do you find God?
Within.
That's it. Where do you find God? All right. So it's Islam.
I just wanted to camel back off of something the daughter said, and thank you so much for that reading. And the reality of it is in English language and Christianity, the Europeans are the only ones that don't have a name for God. And they think God, because God, that word God is generic. I could be talking about my truck outside. That's my God. I start it up every day. It's there for me. Helps me lessen some work. That's my God. And they talked about it down here in slavery. They wouldn't allow us to read, but at the 1855, they give us this book called the Bible and had us looking up at them with this white Jesus as them being gods. And that mentality, I'm telling you, I see it every day. That mentality has perpetuated itself from 1865 to 2022. 2022. Still talking about the pie in the sky, Jesus coming back. Even some Muslims. Jesus coming back. He died and resurrected in 3 days. Anyway, he's a love, man.
Like I said, there are a lot of words that have been bastardized and overused. I remember when watching television is what we call it now. They used to show you the quote Native American, and he would summon the god of the eagle or the spirit of the eagle, and the god of such and such. And they made fun of it. They made a mockery of it. And just like we were talking about those characteristics on that zodiac wheel, he was again talking about the characteristics, the strength, the spirit. But when he would say, he was speaking to the great God, he would say, the great God. And again, they did not understand. Again, I'm going to leave this here when I say this. I'm not being reckless. There are people who call themselves dead devils, willingly and easily. You will never hear me call myself that. Ever. Ever. And I'll leave that there. So if they don't have a word for him, maybe there's a reason. Now we will go into the YouTube video entitled 12 Zodiac Signs and What They Mean. Islam. Can you all see this?
Islam.
Islam.
Mm-hmm.
We are using for teaching, educational purposes only.
Hi, I'm Jenny Lynch, and I'm talking about the zodiac signs and what they mean. So the first sign of the zodiac is Aries, and Aries is represented by a ram, okay? And it's a fire sign. So we know that Aries people have the qualities of being impulsive, of being leaders, of being very impatient. They also are natural-born entrepreneurs. They want to do things. They don't want to just sit here. They want to just go and do things. Taurus, the bull, does not move as fast as Aries. Taurus is grounded. It's patient, but it also can be very stubborn. So that's one of the qualities about Taurus, is that they're fixed. Once they make up their mind, it's hard to change it. With a Gemini, that's the sign of the twins. They're always changing their mind, okay? It's a dual sign. It's an air sign too. So qualities of Geminis: endlessly curious, very social, friendly people, intellectual too, and they like a lot of stimulation. When we get to Cancer, we are talking about the sensitive sign. It's the crab, and if the crab gets sensitive, it will close down and run away. But they're also very much into their family, and they're very sweet and loving people. You just have to win their trust. When it comes to Leo, Leo is the lion, roar. You've heard this before, but it does mean that the person is a very loyal person. They are very honorable generally, generous, gregarious. Those are other fine qualities. They can also be very talented. With Virgo, the Virgin, we are talking about somebody who is interested in health, nutrition, who's very organized usually, although the key word here is compulsive. And so either they'll be really neat or they could be very sloppy. But the main thing about Virgos is that they love to serve other people. So if you have one in your life, you're quite lucky. Now, we get into Libra. Libra is the sign of the scales, and Libras are all about beauty, grace, refinement, the arts. They're into relationship very much. You'll never, ever, hardly ever see a single Libra. We'll talk about Scorpio. Scorpio is the scorpion, okay? It's also the eagle. There's two different types of Scorpios, they say. The ones that are very high with moral standing, and the other ones that go down. They take that road instead. So when you're thinking about a Scorpio, though, you are thinking about someone who's very intense, who is very driven, and who can very much want to be a part of your life and merge. This is somebody who doesn't take anything lightheartedly. talking about a Sagittarius, we are talking about lighthearted. Sagittarius is the happy-go-lucky sign of the archer. And they always say with Sagittarius that the symbol of the archer pulling the bow back, it means that they are looking far into the future or a far distance away. So these people often love to travel and love foreign cultures, and they're very philosophical. Capricorn, this is the goat, the mountain goat. Highly, highly ambitious. They want to climb the mountain, all right? You get the idea here. It's an earth sign. They're very practical, really organized. And they usually do very well in business and with any kind of structure because they're ruled by Saturn. When we get to Aquarius, this is the friendship sign. It's also the water bearer of carrying of liquids, but it's the most friendly social sign of all. Very strong with humanitarians. They love to be around groups of people, and they often make great doctors. When we get to Pisces, we're talking about another dual sign, the fish swimming in two different directions. So Pisces is often a very sensitive, very mystical, and very misunderstood sign. Okay, they're highly sympathetic. And as I said before, this is a sign that kind of goes with the flow. It's a water sign. And those are the 12 signs of the zodiac and a little about them.
Right, let's see that for that measure. Question on the floor is, who are you? Council General?
Islam, Islam, Islam. I am. Who are you? I am Dr. Malik El-Bey, Council General of the Maryland Consulate. And it wasn't always that way. However, I want to say for the record that a lot of things that you hear always sound easier than what they actually are when it comes to practicing, because in more science, we are taught that we are here to work out our life sums. Our life sums. And it's through the 3 steps of belief, faith, and fruition. The reason why the Prophet brought us back Islamism, because that's old time science or old time religion to teach us to know ourselves. And like I said, Islamism is made up of many different sciences. The Prophet says in our Holy Quran, he says, therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the European nations as it was prepared by their forefathers and for their earthly salvation, while we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islam, which was founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. Now, Islam comes out of Islamism after understanding, practicing the sciences. What comes? Peace. That's the final house of abode where man want to reside. It's the house of peace. This is when you get understanding of yourself. So don't just think you can listen to a couple of videos or so and think it's going to be more complicated than that, because you got to apply these sciences and the sole purpose. And another thing, in our Holy Quran, where Yehoshua, when he was speaking, the chapter that the Mo read out of, Yehoshua was teaching the common people at a spring and tells them how to obtain eternal happiness, right? And they wanted to know more about it, what he was speaking about. It says that in the heart, the richest gems abound, that he who wills may open the door and find them all. And then the people said, make known to us the way that we may find the wealth that lies within the heart. And Yehoshua opened up the way. The toilers saw another side of life, and toil became a joy. And that's the whole purpose of these classes. Just to open up the way. It's to open up the way. That's why we go into detail an explanation as we present these lessons to you. We don't just give it to you and leave you alone with it, because not presenting it to you in the right way can cause more damage than it can actually help. A teacher play a major part of whether a soul come back here 10 times or 5 times, based on how he present the information. Because in the reading of the Zoom of the Nation, those two different understandings of the word that God, understanding of God is essential. The prophet Noble Drew Ali said God means rule of the land. And what do the title do Satan give himself? God. Look in the world today and you can see what God rules right now, or gives the appearance of ruling. It's the one that calls himself Satan. And most people, this is why in the Zoom of the Nation was talking about the average person really is so can't, when it comes to hearing this truth, it's like they can't handle it because of the conditioning of the mind that were done by their slave master. Their slave master intentionally conditioned the mind so you can look outside of yourself for your God. And who was that? Him. In Christianity, not speaking radical, they told you to stay away from these different sciences. The preacher will tell you, stay away from the zodiac, stay away from astrology, stay away from astronomy, stay away from these things. These different sciences that help you come into the knowledge of self when it's being properly taught. These are some of the master sciences that Yehoshua mastered when he went up into Egypt and was educated. See, Jesus didn't teach Christianity. He taught the truth. A lot of people learn churchianity, basically. And I'm not speaking radical. Yehoshua or Jesus was a Muslim. What is a Muslim? A Muslim is the will of God, just like you are. We was converted into Christianity after being hit in the head with that setting called Western Freemasonry. So these classes are actually, like I said, designed. The object of these classes is to assist one to conquer the understanding of their soul. Your soul is the only appointed soul, S-O-I-L, where exercise, and I heard that in the class, of thought can and must be developed. Your psychic character, the mind, personage, or individual constitution, that's what we're speaking about. The objective and the goal is to become an adept, a mastermind of your own self or your mind. It's not strange that we have a body of executive rulers in the movement. The executive rulers ought to be the God men and women at that level to be able to rule. The prophet said God means rulers of the land, right? We're talking about divine and earthly salvation, so we have a grand body of executive rulers. This is why you have to transition. You have to go through the process, and that first step is sincerity. This is another degree you got to go through. All this, you're going to be tested right here. Being an adept is an infinite journey within the consciousness of the self, which only you can attain and must master. Once there, you can sit with the prophets and elders of all times. More simply put, no one can be the great God in you or save you but you. The words of our holy prophet are spirit, and we ought to take heed because they are highlighted for our self-education. And when you go through the chapter of Soul of Man, right, I'm gonna just give you a little instructions. In all souls are alike, but they are personalized gardens from on high and always in want of cultivation. So it's your responsibility to work or cultivate your own mind. Nobody else can do it for you. We can instruct you, but no one can do it for you. So get your Holy Quran. It says the principle of love first is needed in order for this to work. Write down, read your Holy Quran, the soul of man, right? Write down the words and the phrases that stick out to you because these words stick out to you. And as a result, have your dictionary, pen and paper. Define these words, define these phrases, along with the definitions of the dictionary. Give your own interpretation to what you understand of these phrases and words. This will help you start the process of elevating your mind to a whole nother level to get you to thinking on a whole nother level. Because see, you got to get away from that finite point of view and focus your attention in the direction of divinity. Ain't nothing spooky about this. Focusing your mind in the direction of divinity is being your true self, your higher self, the God that the one that the great God made. That's what the sole purpose of doing this assignment. This is only the beginning. This is a practice and a way to use your Holy Quran Circle 7 because you need pencil, pad, and paper and dictionary in order to start studying yourself because every word is spirit. Take heed to the word that he speak, right? And take an inventory and keep a journal of your studies and your understanding as you unfold. And then when you come to classes like this, that's your homework. Then when you come to classes like this, you will have something, an input to add. And then the more experienced ones who've already done it and gone through it and stand on the other side can assist you. So that's just an example. This is for the ones that's under the sound of our voice who may not even know anything about the Holy Quran or the Circle 7 or more science or etc. But your interest only can be in one direction when it comes down to the knowledge of self. It can't be all over the place. It can't be all over the place because if it is, then you lose sight on reality. And what is the reality? You. The true you, not the false you, not the illusion, not Maya, not the body of desires, etc., etc. That's a whole nother thing. But we won't be able to give you everything in one class, but just pointing out some specific things, I'll say it like that, to get you started. So this was a grand class, Doc, and this is what we do, because when you get to an understanding or a level, you are obligated. The whole purpose of the ancient ones and taking the neophytes into the class to the level of initiation and being a neophyte, because see, getting to the adept level, you become selfless. Everybody is not ready to serve humanity. Everyone is not willing to sacrifice their time for others who they don't know. Some people right now are saying they crazy. They show up every Wednesday, they show up every Monday, they show up every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 7 days a week. God, the great God, not just God, the great God speaks to man two ways, in a little, still, small voice, and he speaks to man through the voice of man. You understand? So all praises be to Almighty God, Allah. I know I put a lot out there, but at a later date, we'll go back through these things and point out specific steps, okay? So along with the 3-step ladder, apply the 12-step ladder. And we'll go into those things, and then you'll get a picture of how you build character. Islam, because the prophet is the one who brought us everything it takes to save us as a pure and clean nation of people. Islam, Islam, Islam. Gratitude.
Islam, Islam, Islamism. Gratitude for that measure. Council General, and thank you for all the work that you do, both seen and unseen. Dr. Anwar, is there something that you would like to speak on as far as the question on the floor? Who are you?
Islam haven't already written. It was just something that the Council General.
Not to apologize, not to cut you off. You got the secretary present.
Oh, one law.
Yeah, it's
One law. Secretary of State, Sheriff Khadijah Bey.
Islam.
What say you? My apologies.
Islam. And Sashanka Dijibe already risen. The question on the floor is, who are you?
Correct.
Like our class said, I am a microism of the macroism. I am a little God of the great God. I'm not the great God, but I'm a God with a little g. Because if I'm made in the image and likeness of the great God, then I must be a God. The macrocosm of the microcosm, I apologize. I had it how I wanted to come out. Thank you. And in Psalms, that's why the prophet said, don't throw your Bibles away. In Psalms 86, it say, aren't ye gods? So with all the reading and all the zooming of a nation and the definitions, it all comes back to self. Because like I said before, we're taught to look outside of ourselves. And the first question in the questionnaire is, who made you? So if Allah made us, we have to look within. But for so long, we were taught to look outside of ourselves. And when we have these classes it's all about the self. It's not about pointing fingers, who the big G, the little G. It's about self. This is to help build your character. This is to help to help you go into your God state. Because it's easy to look in somebody else's garden and see what's growing and not growing while your garden is being unattended. That's just a state of mind. The garden is just a state of mind. So when we take these lessons, I personalize them. I put myself in them and say, how can I grow? How can I become more God-centered than self-centered? So these classes are always intimate. I love these classes. They give you a chance to look at self. Like Michael Jackson say, start with the man in the mirror. So, look forward to, these classes as usual. And it's not a whole lot to say when you really take a look at self. When you talk about other things outside yourself and pointing fingers, it's a whole lot of jibber jabber. But when it comes to self, it's I'm speaking about me. I get solid and say, what part did I play? How did I look at a situation? I have to bring it back home to myself. So who am I? I am the macrocosm of the microcosm of the great God of the universe, Islam.
Islam, Secretary of State, gratitude for that measure. Let me apologize again, because my thoughts are when you had a black screen that you're about your work. So I'm hesitant to call on you unless I know, like, you put your hand up or I can see. So again, my apologies. I didn't know if you were at work or what, but gratitude for your answer. Yeah, is there anybody else who would like to address? Question on the floor. Dr. Anwar, who are you?
Islam. I am Divine Minister Anwar Abdul Ali El, Moorish American. And also that's the exterior. The interior, I am that I am. I'm a God man. And they quote this in Christianity, and not talking radical, you know, man is made in the image and after the likeness of the creator. What part did they miss? You know, and Council General said something, you know, like we got this saying in another arena, only through understanding and application does it work. So you have to apply these tools, you know, like repetition. You know, they say recitation is not a sign of elevation, and it's not. But that's how we learn stuff. Recite it, and put it on our dial plates, you know. And Satan, we talk about Satan being outside, like the general was saying. Satan, devil, dragon, and beast are 4 or 5. Satan, devil, dragon, and beast. There's 4 characters of our lower self. You know, Satan will think one way, the devil will think another way, the beast will think another way, but it's all 4 parts of our lower self. And I'm gonna finish with this: the 18 missing years of Jesus Christ. The reason they took him out of the Bible is because those 18 missing years, he was learning how to elevate himself up to a Christ conscious state of mind. They didn't want that. They didn't need to leave everything. We need to take that out. Anyway, peace and love, man.
And minister, remember, in the church, they don't say Jesus, the Christ. They just say Jesus Christ, like his name was given. No, it's Jesus, the Christ.
Right.
Islam.
Islam. Mute yourself, man.
I am my brother, man. I needed to stay mute for a couple more seconds. Islam. Are you done, brother?
Islam, I'm done.
Islam, gratitude again for your measure. And oh man, you know, I'm glad you were able to identify who you are.
Islam.
You know, because the number one question on the planet for us is know thyself.
Yep.
You know, if we genuinely, if each one of us genuinely knew themselves, one, there would be peace on earth. I mean, there would be peace on earth. You know, and you would operate from love as opposed to any other direction. Genuine love. And you wouldn't have to question why you were helping somebody that you could not see. You know, if you truly are trying to create heaven on earth. But I see there are those who like just the opposite. They like chaos and they like things to be, you know, for everyone to be running amok. And they seem to exist fine in that. And that ironically is what you see when you see the group of the narcotics agents and the users all mulling around in a chaotic state. Ironically, it's also how you see the capitalists on Wall Street move in the same chaotic state, the exact same chaotic state. Screaming and hollering at each other, and understanding each other. Interesting. God is Williams El-Bey. Islam.
Islam. I am a masterpiece and a work in progress simultaneously. Islam.
Islam. Islam. Gratitude. Gratitude. Gratitude.
Islam, Deputy.
Islam.
Yeah, I want to add to all these great measures that was given out, that in studying yourself, your graduate degree, the graduate, because you're going, it's always a continuous thing in studying yourself, but your graduate degree will be the title of faithful. See, once you get to a level of self-mastery, you are that Muslim. You are that Muslim. You are the will of Allah. See, and your station, your title is faithful. You will be able to see it in your works and deeds. You still gonna have to strive against the lower self, because every level there's a greater devil, but you'll be able to cross the borderland at will. It won't take you as long to get your house back in order or get yourself right if you come up short. An adept deliberately knows when he's doing something wrong and won't blame it on anybody. He'll take the full accountability and responsibility and make it a speedy reparation to the utmost of their power. But majority of the time, his words, works, and deeds are in line with the principles of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Islam, gratitude.
Islam, gratitude indeed. And one of the things about know thyself and knowing that you're going to slip up, that you're going to make mistakes, is the power of redemption. And you say speedy redemption, which means deal with it and move forward. Don't dwell on it. Don't make it a stagnant situation, which is one of the great Deputy Counsel General Freemanel's favorite words. Stagnation. Don't stand in stagnation. Move forward. That's one of Deputy Counsel General Freemanel's pet peeves. He does not appreciate stagnation. Nor do I. When I first was given more science, I hoped that I could get into the deific will, get into the graces of the great God Allah. I hoped. As I moved into my understanding of who I am, I now know I must get into the deific will. There is really no choice. I must move in my higher self. I must move towards the deific will. I must get into the temple of perfected man. I must make myself that logo, that circle 7. I must live up to that, because people are watching me. And if I need to be what I say, what I do, I need to be that. If I'm saying it, it needs to be it. And it's no front behind the scenes. Like I'm talking this right now, but then when I get my family, I'm like, but Daddy, you're no, not at all. And if you know me, you know I can't stand the pimp. I can't stand it. Because we talk about what the so-called white man is doing to our folks. Your brother pimping women is doing more harm to our nation. We already know what the Europeans have done. We now got to deal with us, because everybody else is unifying. Whenever they have a problem, you see them come together. They're not discussing whatever their little petty issues were. They're just moving together to get it done. You saw the young man, if you remember back, that was ready to stand in front of the tank in Tiananmen Square. He would not find a way of the tank moving forward. You got to have that resolve. You got to have that much faith. You got to understand that I am bigger than any weapon that they can create. My mind, my thoughts. I have the attributes of the great God Allah. I am getting back into his deific will. You can't act as, you can't. That's power, and that's true power, especially if you're doing it on behalf of uplifting your people. It cannot be just to bring you up. It cannot be just for you to brag about, guess what station I had. You know, because that's what we have in the United States, or the United Snakes, or whatever we want to call it today. I call it America with a triple K, but I digress. They're walking around and they proud of the position. So they go around and they brag to the so-called people that they should be helping. Almost if you remember Donald Trump, who's supposed to be helping folks, and he's basketball throwing them toilet paper and paper towels. You know, very similar to that statement that came out of Marie Antoinette, let them eat cake. You know, like, you know, peace Shaw, be gone with you. I'm above you, above helping you. And in fact, I'm not going to, but I'm running the time over, man. Is there anybody else would like to address the question, who are you? Again, magnificent class, Dr. Anwar Liel. Magnificent participation, great leadership from the Council General, steering the rudders, putting us back on what the Prophet has for us. Secretary of State, are you there?
Islam.
Please, just go ahead and read the Holy Covenant.
Islam grand class, as always, already risen. A holy covenant of Asiatic nations. Ye are the children of one father, provided for by his care, and the breast of one mother has given you suck. Let the bonds of affection, therefore, unite you with thy brothers, that peace and happiness may dwell in thy father's house. And when you separate in the world, remember the relations that bindeth you to love and unity, and prefer not a stranger before thy own blood. If thy brother's in adversity, assist him. If thy sister's in trouble, forsake her not. So shall the fortune of thy father contribute to the support of his whole race, and his care be continued to you all in your love to each other. Islam Moors.
Islam.
Islam, peace and love, more.
Islam,
Grand
Islam,
class,
Gratitude.
peace
Islam,
and love
grand
to you all.
class, grand
Peace and
Dr.
class.
love, grand class.
Anwar, a goo Ali here.
Peace and
Hey,
love.
Minister Anwar, what
Islamism.
do a goose mean?
A goo is Nigerian for the lion.
For the line.
Islam.
Yeah.
Islam.
I'm a Leo.
It's
Islam, gratitude.
and it's ironically, it sounds like the noise that a lion makes in their mind. The roar is Agu.
Islam.
Islam.
Gratitude.
Peace and love to you all.
Peace and
Long
love.
live more America. Long live more Americans. I love you all. Freeman L.
Islam.
I love you, brother. Peace.
Islam, love you too, more. Love all you Moors. Grand class
Right.
once again.
Gratitude.
Always a pleasure, Freeman L. Always a pleasure.
Always. Gratitude. Peace and love, y'all.
No.